And we are live. Hey guys,
Everybody.
thanks for joining us today. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Wednesday, fantastic hump day.
Great day so far over here. We have some more Greek family that just
And we
arrived.
are live. Hey guys,
Everybody.
we've got Patrick, Susan, Leanne, Lori, Tierney, Emily, Ingrid, and another Ingrid, Coach Kathy, Marie, Tash, Fernando. Wow, so good to see y'all. Always so good to see y'all. Hammer. Yeah, wow, beautiful. Jeannie, Kazri,
Yeah.
wow.
Hey, Kazri.
Jeannie, Kaz, Barb's there. Barbara is there, and Coach Kathy 1111 is actually really amazing, as virtually everyone within the group is.
Yeah, it's always so
I think literally it would be so much fun to do a show just based in and around everyone in the chat room because they're so awesome.
somebody said it's hard to hear me. All right, am I coming in loud and clear for you guys?
I hear you.
Yeah, you sound perfect.
Yeah. Hey, Susan. Susan had a great breakfast today. Watermelon, orange juice. We have more fruity friends here. Kira and Jeremiah. They're so beautiful, you guys. They came to the door this morning. We were like, hi. We've been drinking orange juice and watermelon and cocos, and family keeps growing. It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet to be together. It feels so healing. Last night we went to yoga and then we came back to the house and everybody was having mangoes for dinner. And then we just riffed and talked about all the things. And it just feels so healing to be able to express yourself and just talk, about all the things without without having any concern that anyone's going to be upset about anything. Just the level of freedom. The truth just let you free if you let it.
Yeah, it truly is.
Yep. And if I can make a quick comment to everyone watching, just take a look at Marie and Justin. Look how beautiful they both look, and I mean that in every sense. In every sense, look how beautiful the color that is there, the warmth that is there, the fire that is there, the caring and the loving that is there. When you do this work, you always are. That's the beautiful thing about God. You always are what you is, and you always will be. You wear what your thoughts are. You wear the inner kingdom. And if you deny it, that's your choice. But you'll wear it, and you'll wear that denial. Denial's not just a river in Egypt. It's your reality for most people. But when you are consciously awake, aware, self-aware of who you are in this gift and this connection to God, look. This is what I always attempt to say to everyone. This is the proof in the pudding, the cream rising to the surface. Look, take a hard look at Marie and Justin. Feel them, breathe them, absorb them, look at them. This is the fruits of the vine. This is the divine vine rising, and these are the fruits of the loom, which is the womb. They just changed that around on you. Fruit of the loom underwear is fruit of the womb. Fruit of the womb is us, which is mankind. And when you're a human being, you're not of the mother and you're not of the father. You are a Satanist, and I know that hurts. First time comers and people looking from the outside in. I know that hurts to hear, but those are loving words, and those are words that are deigned to inspire you to have intention to go in the dome and to create your tent, pitch your tent, and create all of your thoughts within this protective realm. It's so simple. I just want to share that with everyone again. It's so simple, and the living, breathing proof of it is Justin and Marie. Look at them. And I'm not saying that everything in their life just yet is tickety-boo. When you're rising, those that are connected to you that aren't will fall, and they'll fall away from you. And they can do so in a very messy, noisy, angry, bloody way, but they will fall. They have to. They cannot be in the presence of the light of the Lord. And they'll blame you for it too. And that's okay, because you have perspective to know they just can't see it yet.
Yeah, and
So,
as Charlie said, it's kind of harsh to hear, but it always goes back to that simple truth that you can't serve two masters. If you are not serving one, you're inevitably serving the other, and that's true in every sense in every moment. But it doesn't mean that you can't change in a moment as well. It doesn't mean that you can't cast your net to the right and make that conscious flip, but you do have to do it. You do have to be conscious about it and make that commitment. Um, and we live in this upside down world that's so obfuscated to get us away from that simplicity that sometimes it's really hard to see. And sometimes it's really hard for us to realize. And we were born into this upside down world and lied to from the very beginning. So there's no judgment on people coming out of this and not realizing it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get out of it, but it is the truth. It is the truth, and we do have to get out of it. We have to get out of that.
I think what I said earlier before we started the live was just that it's curable. I think that's what you said. It's curable. I thought that was brilliant, because it's like we just, as long as we're willing to acknowledge what's happened, that's how we can heal. We can't heal something if we're not aware of it and we're not willing to look at it. And I think that's what brought me into this movement in such a fierce way, because it was like I had to realize, and I'm still realizing, all of the threads I still have plugged in to this system. And it's curable. And it's curable through the work that we're learning how to do, which is really simple. Like our friends that just arrived this morning were so like, it's like I heard them say just eat fruit, and I went, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. Like I just didn't know that. It's so mind-blowing that we don't know how to feed ourselves, like on a very simple level, like that we're in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s or however old we are, and we just didn't know. And that was on purpose. And I think until we acknowledge that all of this happened on purpose, we can't heal it. And so this is totally curable. The things that are hard to hear, the things that rub you or break your heart and make you want to throw a picture of something at one of us on the screen or whatever, it's for you. You get to hold that anger. You get to look at it, where it came from. It's yours. We are standing as the clearest mirrors we can be. That's my function on this planet, is to get as clean and clear as I can be, just so that in the presence of it, you see where you're still attached. That's what these guys have done for me, and that's what we're doing for each other. As Bhakti Das says, I trust he's still good, but we're all walking each other home. And the book of Revelations reading this morning, I'm really moved by it. I'm so excited for this conversation, because this is what's happening right now for each and every one of us. And I know it because I'm in it deep too. But every time I stay present in the moment, I was telling Justin earlier, like, I realize how blessed I am. Like in this perfect moment, it's all bliss. It's what's taking me out of the moment that is dangerous. And so it is staying in the present moment, taking no thought, acknowledging, being grateful for what is, and allowing this alchemy to occur, because we need to be cured. we have sickness, and it's time. And it's happening.
yeah, and we talk the talk, but we walk the walk. And Eugene stepped up and helped out with a very generous offering to the entire family. And just so you know, we put it all into silver. so we don't just say things. We live every single second and moment of this reality by the things that we're teaching you, because it is the way and it is the light of the world. And silver is the bane. And the moment that Judas sold Jesus to the church elders for 30 silver coins, and then of course, see, they couldn't keep it, they couldn't touch it, they threw it into the blood field, and blood only ever came of that field. And this is why you don't want to muck and toil in the earth. This is why you need to get out of that the pair of rents house, go on that journey, fall, get up, fall, get up, fall. You get tired of falling enough, and you realize that the only way not to fall is to rise, and therefore you just do everything in your life to rise. And I was sharing with Justin and Marie just before the show that this is how you know that the Bible is in its purest form, which I don't think that we have seen just yet. But even in terms of what they've done, it's still pure magic, because it is of the mind of God. And therefore the Bible is pure magic. It's a magical book, and there's nothing that a demon who is left brain, facts, figures, and logic can do to it, because they don't understand magic, they don't possess magic, and therefore they cannot conjure up real white magic. Now they do black magic, but that's entirely different from white magic. White magic raises you up. Black magic brings you down. The Bible has nothing to do with black magic. It is pure white magic through and through. So there's nothing that they can do to it. So I just wanted to share with everyone that as old as we are, have we been around the wheel millions of times? Are we tens of millions of years old? However old we are is how old the Bible is, because the Bible is the book. It's the manual. This is it. This is that manual. And if you know how to read it, then it truly is the gift of gifts, because this is showing you, and we're going to show you today, it's so exciting, 12, 13, 14, and 15. We're going to show you today, plain and simple, in the simple, easy to understand words of the New Testament. The book of Revelation itself shows you that this is the book of all books, and that this shows you the way, and that you only have two choices. If you keep falling down and you are of the earth, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer, because that's where hell resides. Scratch just an inch beneath the surface, and you are encroaching upon the kingdom of hell. The kingdom of heaven is above you. It's where your food is. That's where your life is. That's where the air is. That's where the sun is. That's where the moon is. That's where the stars are. Everything is above you. If you're of the land or of the sea, then you're going to suffer. And that's why the dragon that we're going to meet early on today is spewing forth water. And these are indeed the Maritime Admiralty Law waters. So this book is of God. And there's just very little to nothing that the demons can do to it, because they have no power over white. They only have power to influence you to become a Satanist. And a Satanist is you being diseased. And disease just means you're not at ease. You're at ease with yourself, because you don't know thyself. So it's curable. Satanism, that's a bad diagnosis, Dr. Charlie. That's a bad... Okay, it's bad, but it's curable. It's curable, and it is. And all you have to do is cast thy net to the right, because you catch 153 fish. Or if you're going to listen to the radio, switch from 610 AM to 107.1 FM, AM, FM. What do you think FM stands for? Anyone? 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 What's FM?
Heard that.
Father, mother.
Father, mother. Father, mother. Father, mother. And what do you know about FM radio versus AM radio? FM comes in loud and clear. It's got a great signal. It's got a great signal on FM, the FM band. So It's pure magic. Welcome to the show. We love you, and welcome to the magic. And you're just going to keep on living, because if you believe in the magic and you do the magic, there's no end to this. And there isn't anyways. It's just that the forgetting part and being born again. I was talking to Justin before the show. Again, all of these new age churches in North America, Canada, the United States, pushing out as fast as they can born again Christians. If you're a born again Christian under that system, round, 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 round the wheel you will go, because that is the wheel, the samsara. Born, you live, you get sick, you die in suffering, pain, and misery. You die in pain and misery, and around and around it goes. Free. Ever notice that? Everything is free.
We're kind of losing your voice a little bit, Charlie.
Okay.
So these live moments of love and bliss, the holy instant right now, eternity. It's
That's all there is. God's eternal moment. It's all now. Everything is now.
think that on the net.
Yeah. So, hey, really quickly with the song, what are Donald and Walter from Steely Dan saying in their very famous hit single song FM? No static at all. FM, no static at all. Cast thy net to the right, folks. There's no static at all. And that lower AM band, you get nothing but static and talk radio. Talk, talk, talk.
Yep. All right, are we ready to jump into chapter 12?
We are.
All right. I'll take it away. So starting with Revelation chapter 12, if y'all are following along, which I highly recommend. So verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads, and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up into God, and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 2,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for time and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Some intense stuff.
Yeah, very intense stuff. Very, very well spoken as well, Justin. Thank you. Beautifully done. And notice that this is chapter 12, so this is Revelation, so we always need to be cognizant of the fact of which chapter and which verse. So we're in chapter 12, so therefore verse 1, 12 and 1, which would be 13, would be a very important passage, and of course it is. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So now for Justin and Marie, what is this signifying? The sun above, the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. What is this signifying? Who is this representing, and what is this signifying?
I mean, it's us. It's the divine child. It's the yeah. It's Jesus or Mary Magdalene. It's the 12 cranial nerves and the mother below and the father above.
Yeah, very much so. And of course it's put feminine because it's through the mother, right? So once again, the only way once we fell from the singularity of heaven, the only way to get him is to get her. So this is her. So this is the exalted her who is in perfect unison and balance. She wears the sun above, which is the Father, who is a scalar wave, the eternal eight, and then she is the moon below at her feet, which is eternal, which is the scalar wave, and then a crown upon her head. And this is what gives birth to mankind. So again, when you read this flies in the face with evolution. and the notion that we have slowly and steadily evolved from pond scum to monkey swinging in the trees to Homo erectus to this modern man. And that is a massive lie, because that's all the deceivers can do. That's all Satanists do. They lie. Whether they mean to or not, it doesn't matter. They lie. And the truth is that we are the pinnacle of God's creation. How could you not be? How could you read that passage and not come to see yourself as truly special beyond description? You are. That's what's being said, that you are this prized creation of this prized unification of two realms. Mother, Father, Father, Mother, FM, the masculine and the feminine, the honey and the milk, and the positive and the negative, the warmth and the coolness, the electricity and the magnetism. You're everything. You are an electromagnetic field. And when you rise, you become a magnetic electrical field. You're everything. You're not nothing. You're not a recent creation. You're not something that is going to ever go away. There weren't dinosaurs. There's only ever been you and everybody else on this earth looking to you to guide them. Because that's what we're put here to do, is to shepherd the herd, the way. So that's really important. 12:1, which is 13, as Justin so beautifully said, really is this golden child of this golden union between the silver and the gold in the blue of heaven. So thank you for that. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, because she's of the earth, pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder. Behold, a great red dragon. So this is the deceiver, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So he is showing some of the righteous marks, but he's a deceiver. You know this because he is a red lizard. And his tail drew a third. We talked about this in chapters 11 and 12, drawing a third away. So this is the fallen form of man, which we're going to see as we move to chapter 14 and this definition of 666. And then we right the ship and we become 999. So the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, to devour her child as soon as it was born. Did anyone get goosebumps when you read that passage? Yeah, me too. Me too, because when you read that, you're going, shit. This is like right to these doctors, right to delivery rooms and hospitals. It's like, holy shit, they take this seriously. And that's what's being said. That's how this Bible is so mystical, magical, and untouchable, and how it knows all things and all moments. It knows, and it's telling you right now, not just a million years ago, right now, it's telling you exactly what's going on and to beware. Oh, that gave me a lot of feeling when I read that passage. Soon as it was ready to devour. Yeah, wow. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God, to his throne. So again, that's telling you who we are, what our purpose is, and that we are the pinnacle of God's creation. And that's why they hate us. And that's why we have a rod of iron, and why our spine is physical, because we have to be strong. You have to be strong in your truth, because there are people that are going to question the truth. And in an upside down world of deceivers, what do? They make telling the truth look like a radical conspiratorial act. Just ask Marie. Ask Marie and her entire world of that former world, that past world, that other life, before she crossed the river alone and wrestled her ego for a day and came upon God in a place called Pineal. But that whole entire world is just going, wow, you're a white supremacist Nazi and you've fallen into an evil cult. And it's like, no, actually, I've learned the truth. And I just like talking about it. It's funny how that is, but I like the truth, and I like talking about the truth. No. You're in a white supremacist cult. Oh, is that what it is? Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Satan. So it's horrifying, because what they do is, and this is gaslighting Abby. Right? This is gaslighting Abby. And what is Abby? Abe is head. It's the higher head, by the way. It's the mind. ABBE is Abe. ABBA, Abba, is the father. And ABBE is the head of the father. So Abe. And that's what gaslighting Abe is. They're gaslighting your mind. And that's what they've done. They've turned the lies into, of course we're spinning, wobbling, tilting, twisting, turning, upside down in Australia, being sucked by a vacuum that allows a moth to fly as high as it wants, but not the ocean water. Of course that's the truth. And Adolf Hitler could be a good guy. What's wrong with you? You're a lunatic. You're a kook. You're a nut. Or that God built a giant dome to protect us. Oh, you've fallen into a cult, Marie. You've fallen into a cult. Oh. So they can't see it, because darkness is a cloak that clouds everything. Yeah, go ahead, Marie.
And they worry about you. They're not sure you're going to be okay. Like you definitely lost your mind. They're concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be concerned for themselves. They should take this very, very seriously. Yeah. And they should be very, and as we were talking before the show, remember, I've said this numerous times, so you all know this, but I'll remind it again. What's happening right now is that God is saying you can't have it both ways. This is that one moment in time. This is that 1 year where you must declare yourself one way or the other. And that's the thing about right and wrong. I taught that from the very beginning 3 years ago, that everything else is sort of levels and shades of gray, not right and wrong. There's a right and there's a wrong. You're either righteous or you're wrongful. And it's that simple. And in this moment, you walk a fine line, because that's what the ride to heaven is on a fine line. It's a cambric shirt with no seams and no needlework, because that's what heaven is. It's a very fine line. And when you stop walking that fineness, that fine line, and they give you a fine for jaywalking, then you've fallen. And you've fallen fast and you've fallen hard into their world. And it's Satan and it's upside down. So gaslighting Abby is gaslighting Abba, which is your higher mind, which is the Father within you. And that's what they've done to the vast majority. They've got them believing that down is up, left is right, and lies are the truth. And that's the truth. And that's where we are. And that's what this book is painfully showing. And that's why you need a rod of iron. You must have a rod of iron. And this is that fire that you see within Justin. Because Justin is so warm and he's so caring and so compassionate. Just think of how many people Justin selflessly helped months and months and months and months ago, when people were desperately hanging on, waiting for the ship to right. And Justin was there night after night on the phone to 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, listening and nurturing and helping and healing through sound advice, through the truth. And that's Justin. So warm, caring, compassionate, so many virtues of the mother, and the fire of the father. How many times have you seen Justin with the fire of the father? And that's the beauty of Marie. And she shows that all the time. Fire of the father, when she needs to be. And that's because we have to have an iron rod. You have to be stronger than your enemies, and that's your rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And that's the rod of iron that can't be broken, and it always leads you up to God, to his throne, which is the Ark of the Covenant inside your head. And that's why it's gaslighting Abby, because they don't want you to get to the Ark of the Covenant. It was stolen in the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie by Steven Spielberg. So the woman fled into the wilderness, and she had a place prepared of God, and that they should feed her there for 1,203 days. Let's put the camera back on just for a second here. And a reminder to everyone, how do you get 1,203 score? 1,203 score is 1,260. 42 times 30. How do we get 360? 360 is the 12. These are the 3 journeys, remember? These are the 3 journeys. 12 times the 30 degrees of separation. 12 times 30 equals the 360. That's journey 1. Then we have the true clock, the truth above all else, which is the 24-hour clock, which is truth. 24 times 30 equals 720. In gematria, we don't count the zero, so that's 72. 72 hours, 3 days and 3 nights, 360 degrees to become magnetic, to become radial, and to pulse out so that your wisdom, no child gets left behind, because you're pulsating out in a radial pattern, 360 degrees, and no child is left behind. So that's the first journey, and that's the 12 of the 30, and then the 24 is 3 days and 3 nights in the tomb. Anything that you want to do, you can achieve through 3 days and 3 nights in the tomb. Okay, that's the second journey. The third journey is running into the wilderness. That's running away from evil. The evil is taking thought in your left brain. So for 1260 days, you take only food of God. Oh, what do they mean? What do they mean? We've discussed this in the book of Matthew again and again. The food of God is manna from heaven, and the manna from heaven is the purity of thought, which are sheep. And so all you sheep in the wilderness, you're a shepherd counting your sheep, guiding your flock. Your flock are your thoughts that are supposed to come from God. That's this. That's the miracle of this. 1260. How do you get 1260? 42 times the 30 degrees of separation. So life is a tapestry. You must sew together these 30 degrees. And when you sew them together, you create a tapestry of your life, and that is the wisdom. That is you. The tapestry is you. That's you. That's the cloak that you wear of light, of your journeys, of your experiences, and you wear it. And that's what you come to look like. You come to look like a tapestry. But not if you stay in Des Moines, Iowa your entire life, and you marry Betty Sue from 2 blocks down. That's not what you were intended to do. It isn't what you're intended to do at all. First off, you don't go on dates until you're 333 years of age. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. So you got a long way to go. Don't rush into anything. Slow down. Go at your own pace. What does society do? Go, 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 go. 7, 8, you should be having children. Look at those birthing hips. Oh, they're perfect to start having children. 7, 8, come on, let's get going. Get going. 12, 13, you should be married. Come on, lots of kids, lots of kids. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Slow everything in your life down to a crawl. Because that's how you learn to fly, by first crawling. So do it right, slow everything down, because that's your what I just said is an allegory, because that's your vibration. And that's Tom Petty learning to fly. Listen to the song carefully, and it's all just about going within, slowing this whole insane ride down, and that's learning to fly. And you will, and you absolutely will. There's no two ways about this. As you become lighter and lighter with the truth, as you become lighter and lighter with your food, as you become lighter and lighter with the breath you take and how you breathe and the thoughts that you do or don't take, you're going to fly. You're going to fly because God's up there and he loves you more than anything, so you will fly. You absolutely will. Have you seen the size of some of the birds that fly? Have you seen the size of some of these birds that are able to take flight? They're the size of a young adult. They're big and they can fly. So can you. You can fly. You can do anything you want, but you have to clear the mechanism. Clear the mechanism. No more gaslighting Abby. So the 3 journeys, 360, 720, and 1260. Now, interesting. If you add 360 and 720, come on, somebody do the math here. What do you get? You're going to love this. You're going to love this. They're telling you, showing you the truth in plain sight. They're proven, old Charlie Free. What's 360 plus 720? 1080. 1080. What's 1080? What's this crystal clear vision on your TV sets? What's the best? The best view?
1080p.
1080p. 1080p, which is the vertical, right? And then with 1080p, what's your horizontal or lateral? 720. So the perfect vision in their world is 1080p, P for photon light, which is God light, which is magnetic light, eternal light, scalar light. And how do you get 1080? 360 plus 720 is 1080, and then that's the vertical, and the horizontal is 720. So 1080 by 720, and that's the best they got. And they're putting the truth. They're putting the truth to you in plain sight. In plain sight. Now, anybody else good with math? So we got 1080, and we're going to add 1080 to 1260. Who can do it? Who can do it? It's 1,000, so we just went from 1260 to 2260, and then add 80, 2340. 2340. Look in a mirror. Look in a mirror. 2340. Look in a mirror. What do you got? Write it down. 2340. 2, 3, 4. Look in the mirror. 4, 3, 2. There you go. So when you run into the wilderness to get away from the red dragon who's trying to devour your inner child, and you go into the wilderness for 1,260 days, and you can do that because you've already done the 360 and the 720. So now you're 1,260, that's 2,340. And then every time that you look in the mirror, which is the allegory for looking at yourself, to being here and now, to being aware of who you are in the here and the now, you're at 432 hertz, which is a frequency of God. And 3 plus 6 is 9, and 7 plus 2 is 9, and 1 plus 2 plus 6 is 9. 999. And we're going to see this passage coming up very soon, 666. And when you write the ship, you go from 666 to 999. 1, 2, 3. 3 nines, and that's 230. That's 2,340. And in the mirror image is 432 hertz, which is 9, which is the highest divine. And that's it. So these are the 3 journeys, and that's my third book. That's my third book that's coming, is this, because this is it. This is it. This is everything. These are the 3 journeys. What do the journeys look like? What do you have to do? It'll all be there for you. That's it. That's it. So 360 is degrees, 720 is hours, 1260 is days. So that's where you need to get to. 1,260 days. 1,260 days. So you see, if you only live to 58 and then you have a massive coronary, you're not going to get there, are you? It takes time. It takes time to be able to be in the temple, to be in the cave, to be in the tomb. 1,260 days. So that's what you have to do. Got to cross the river into the wilderness, right hemisphere of the brain, and God provides all the food that you need, which is thought. And then this is what happens. And then this final transformation is you never do kill the ego. But this is that state of overstanding. So understanding you rise from understanding with innerstanding to have innerstanding to have overstanding. Understanding, understanding, overstanding. And this is overstanding the demons, overstanding creation, and overstanding your lower self in the form of your higher self. And this is where you win. This is where you win. And while the ego never, ever, ever goes away, you are the master of your domain. This is it. This is the journey. These are the 3 journeys to become the master, and that's it. So this is like, this is the incredible genius of the Bible, and this is the incredible sacred significance of the book of Revelation. So if we go back to this just for a sec here, Some really, really key things that I just want to focus on and then pass it back over to you guys. Okay, so she fled into the wilderness. She hath a place prepared of God that they should feed her there 1,203 score days. Okay? So it's all there for you. It's all there. It's all there. By the way, that's 12:6. What's 6 times 12?
144.
6 times 12?
No. Yeah.
72.
72. Yeah.
72. So 6 times 12 is 3 days and 3 nights, right? So this is the 3 days and 3 nights. She fled. So, right? So where is she fleeing to, right? This is the tomb. 3 days and 3 nights. Just telling you, it's Revelation chapter 12, verse 6, 12:6. And 12 plus 6 is 18, which is chi, which is the energy of life. And 1 plus 8 is 9, which is divine. So, see? It all has powerful meaning. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels, and the dragon prevailed not. Neither was his place or their place found any more in heaven. No, they are of the earth. Because if we stay in the earth, then that's where the dragon and his gang are. See? And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, and was cast out into the earth. So do you see this? This is what we're up against. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these demons who have been cast out of heaven. And they chose this. And we have to rise. The only way is to rise. What does silver do? Why should you buy silver? What does silver literally do? What is silver? Silver is magnetic, Mary, mother, middle way, is rising, is scalar wave, is eternity. Buy silver. Buy silver. Because that's what this is all about. And that's why it's their bane. Hello, beautiful girl. Hello, gorgeous girl. Hello, beautiful Ruby.
No,
That's Adam.
No, this is Adam.
He goes, why do you keep...
Adam, we love you. Adam, what's your favorite thing today? You don't know.
Hey.
Woo! Good answer.
Ready? Maybe you tell me a little hug. And hear some cool conversations about dragons. There were dragons, there was silver, and there was all the stuff. You're so beautiful, Angel. You're so beautiful. Okay, so we're back to the dragons, and they were cast out. And so once again, so you just see what's happening in the world right now, right? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And what are we learning right now? What's coming out every day? I mean, Ghost Ezra is having the time of his life, bringing all of this stuff out every single day. And what did Ghost Ezra release yesterday? He said, World War II, or no, he said the Holocaust, and now what was the other one? Let me just find it here. Yeah, and the shape of the earth. So the two subject matters that are the most tabooed, the most censored of all time are the shape of the earth and the Holocaust. I wonder why this is. We should really get to the bottom of why these subjects are so savagely attacked when questioned. I mean, isn't the truth able to withstand any kind of investigation? So yeah. So we're in the face of these deceivers, and don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. This is biblical. It's from the beginning.
They wear the mark of the beast, and these are the red dragons, and these are Canaanites. They're Cain. These are the descendants of Cain. They absolutely are. And you love it in Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, how the vampire whose great burden was eternity, until you meet Silver, hi ho Silver, that his name, he took the name Adam, because that was his plan. That was Cain's plan all along, right? Cain's plan. That's why he was cast out of Eden, east of Eden. He was cast because his plan was to murder Adam and to regularly impregnate Eve and create his bloodline as the bloodline that would rule the world, which are the vampires. So you see how that works? Don't kid yourself. Hillary Clinton, that's what she is. She may look human to you, but she's a red dragon. She's a red dragon, or she was. And that's what we're dealing with here. So, and I heard a loud voice in heaven, now come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. So once again, that's what salvation is. Sal is salt of the earth. We are salt of the earth, and Christ is within us, and that's why we have a rod for a spine, because the chrism oil must rise protected. The chrism oil comes down the subtle body, the Ida and the Pingala, winding as milk and honey. It winds down the subtle path, but it comes back up literally. So it comes down metaphorically via Joseph and Mary, the Ida and the Pingala, as milk and honey, to fertilize the sacred seed created in the solar plexus at the place of sex, which is the sacral plexus chakra, the sacral plexus. And then it rises literally as this unified oil called the chrism oil, which is Christ consciousness within you. And so it has to be. It has to be. And that's why in 12:10, which is 22, is talking about salvation and strength, the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brother is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him, 11, so this is 12:11, they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. So this is crucifixion, right? And why would that then be 12:11? Anyone? 12:11 is 23. 23 is the punisher, is the bringer of pain, and 2 + 3 is 5, which is crucifixion. This is the crucifixion. That's why that 12:10 has to be about Christ, and 12:11 has to be about crucifixion. Because you're not enamored or happy with your life until you have crossed over the river, which is what this crucifixion is crossing over from the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere of your brain. That's what's being said. Now, think about what 12:12 signifies. 12 cycles of 12 is completion, and 12/12 is 144. And this is the mark, and that's those who are in the book of life, is the 144. So this is 12:12. This would be an important verse. What does it say? Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, and the seal for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. And that's the temporary life of the electrical beast of man in the left brain. And you have a short period of time, 58 years these days if you're lucky, eating them cows and pigsicles and milk and dairy and all that crap, you're lucky if you get to 58. And then you're begging for death at 58 because the pain that you suffer from eating these foods is pure horror, right? I mean, none of these illnesses that people are suffering from now are fun at all. They're hideous and horrible. Losing your memory so that you don't even remember the person that you love more than anything. You think that that's some kind of joke? You think that that's funny? That is tragedy, and it all comes from the foods that you eat. Your brain is such a fine, divine device. It has to be taken great care of. That's why the blood-brain barrier is the way it is. That's why you have the circle of Willis just above the blood-brain barrier inside of you for this double purification of the blood. So only a tiny amount of blood comes into the head out of the body, and that's at the blood-brain barrier, and that's a filter ensuring that only clean, pure blood comes up into the head, because it's a super fine machine, super fine mind. That's what it means, super fine mind, because it has to be pure. And then there is no purity left in you when you kill animals. So your blood is toxified and poisoned. And then that's the last place it goes to because of the protections for your head. That's the last place your toxified blood goes to. And when it gets there, that's hell on earth. That's hell on earth. Because the vessels, because everything in the brain, the conduits that take the blood from point A to point B, the synapses to get through one section to another, everything is so small. The better word is fine. Everything is so fine because that's heaven upon earth. It's so fine because it's divine. And you invite a McDonald's hamburger, and you invite a glass of milk that's filled with cow pus from an animal that has been just tortured through a process that I won't even go through. It's so ugly, so horrific. And that's what you're putting into your superfine mind. And then it clogs up and you can't remember even the one that you love. And do you not see that this is tit for tat? Do you not see that this is well earned? Well done. If that's what you wanted, you got it. You wanted to rape and murder the land, the mother, and her creation, the animals, and now you can't even remember the one lying next to you. And you've done it. You've done this. You've done this, and the reward is well earned. And again, that may be sounding so harsh and so hard to hear, but it's the truth. Wear it. If you want to do these horrific things and turn a blind eye to them, you don't want to watch any of these documentaries showing you what happens inside of a slaughterhouse, turning a blind eye to what's going on, then wear it with pride. Wear your diseases of the brain with pride, because you took great effort to have them. And yes, they've lied to us, but you possess common sense. So that's harsh to hear. But 12:12, what it's saying is that heaven is in heaven above, and that woe to you that choose not to do the work to rise up and be the inhabitants of the earth, for the seal for the devil is come down unto you, and he is wrathful because he no longer has eternity. He is electricity, and he is a temporal wave, and he's going to die, and his limitations and his lack of self-worth will be thrust upon you, and he will devour you in an attempt to go back to heaven. So do you see this? Heaven was taken away from these demons, and then they fell to earth and earth only, and there they will reside temporarily forever and ever and ever around the wheel until they exercise the last ounce of God consciousness within them, and then they're gone. But they come around and around here. And so what do? They devour the children of you in their way to try and get back to heaven. So, and it'll never work. It'll never, ever, 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 ever work. They may prolong their lives, but it'll never, ever work. And so that's this world that we're living in. You have people that have been cast out of heaven, and now they're trying to get back to heaven by taking the purity from your children. And that's it. And that's what the Bible teaches you. So I wanted to bring that up. And the other point that I wanted to focus on here at the ending, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle that rises, so that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, which is nourished for a time and times and half a time, which means all time, from the face of the serpent. So when you go into the wilderness, when you fly into the wilderness, you will be nourished for all time from the face of the serpent. So again, why say the face of the serpent? So you don't even see it. And what is the face of the serpent? Temptation. Remember we talked about this? This is the good rewards of the work that you do, so that even temptation will be taken away from you. You will not see the sinfulness of their world tempting you to fall, to tempting you to take fornication into your heart. That won't happen with the purity of the father and the mother, because you are gold, silver, and blue. And there's no room for the devil. There's no room for temptation. There's no room for fornication with gold, silver. You're busy writing the screenplay to the greatest movie that's come. Who do you think is going to write this future? It's us. Don't kid yourselves. Everyone in this chat room, Justin, Marie, Colleen, we're the ones that are going to have to write this stuff moving forward, because they don't do anything. They don't know anything. And if we're going to write this one story playing out beautifully, it has to come from us. So we're the ones that are going to write all of these movies and books moving forward. We have to. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. This is the maritime admiralty laws. It is perfect maritime admiralty laws. Okay? And the earth helped the woman. Remember that. The earth helped the woman. The rocks and trees and the mother and plants and bumblebees. Everyone is on your side. Everyone is trying to help you to get away from the dragon. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So now do you see why we have oceans? Do you see why we have oceans and why you have to stay off the sea? Because the oceans is the salt water which we can't consume, right? We can't consume the salt water because it is the vileness that was spewed forth of the wrathful dragon who was kicked out of heaven. And so this is just showing you once again that you have to be on God's dry land, living under God's laws. And if you're not, you're a victim, and the dragon is going to eat your children. It's that simple. I mean, it really is that simple, and it's literally saying that to you. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have testimony of Jesus Christ. Why do you think they hate Nikola Tesla, and why they did what they did to Tesla and have removed Nikola Tesla? The scientist of God? The genius of God? Antoni Gaudi, the architect of architects in Barcelona, Spain, that built, amongst a million other things, La Sagrada Familia with magnetism, and it's the outward spiral of magnetism, which is the golden mean, or the golden principle, which is the 1.618. So that's the outward flow of magnetism versus the inward centripetal. This is centrifugal. So everything that Antoni Gaudi constructed was of magnetic creation, and it was the centrifugal creation, which is the golden mean, which is 1.618. Look at everything he did. Everything he did. And that's why he was able to create such massive domes and arches without supports, because he built upon how God built everything upon the earth, which is the golden mean, the ratio of 1.618. And that's what Gaudi did. How many of you even know of Gaudi? And why is his work limited to a few parts of Spain and mostly Barcelona? And most people know of La Sagrada Familia, but most people don't even know Antoni Gaudi. And Tesla met Gaudi. Tesla went to visit Gaudi at the building of La Sagrada Familia. Of course they did. These two righteous men of God who built from God, and they met and shook hands and met face to face. And these were the mover and shakers, the men who wore the armor of God in the face of this evil. So that's what I wanted to share. Back over to Justin and Marie.
Well, and if I would just say, if you have a chance to go check out La Sagrada Familia, wow, there's such a resonance there. I mean, just walking around that space and seeing the structure and just how the sound plays off it, it's truly magical. It is something else. So I'd highly recommend checking that out if you do get a chance. Or yeah, it is something else. And then just on this chapter in general, like I loved, we drew on the parallel in 12:12 of the short lifespans where the devil has great wrath upon us if we live in that left-hand world. But you can also draw parallels to this time period that we're in of Revelation, because the devil knows that time is short, and so the wrath is growing. And so anyone who chooses to stay in that left-hand world is experiencing great suffering. And we see that, and they will continue to experience great suffering, and it just gets worse and worse. But it's all a choice. Like, it's not like anyone has to be in that state. It's not like anyone has to stay in that. But you will continue to experience suffering the longer that you stay in that path. And that's just. It is fair, and it is absolutely just clear as day. This book does not get any clearer than that. The world around doesn't get any clearer than that. It's built into the work. And if you're choosing to stay in that state of self-serving and just ignorance and not even wanting to do anything about it, then you will suffer, and that's just part of it. But yeah.
Beautiful, Justin. Beautiful. And just to complete off with the genius of the numerology of the Book of Revelation, it's 12. The last verse is 17. Q. The last verse is Q. 12:17, and 12:17 is 204. Again, in gematria we don't count the zero, so it's 24. And 2 and 4 is 6, which is the journey of man. That's what we just had from the birth of man in 12:1 to what we're up against in 12:17. That's the journey of man. So that's why it would have to be 204 or 24. And remember the journeys: 12, 24, and 42. And 204 is 24, and the reverse or the mirrored image of 24 is 42. See how 42 and 1260 play such a key role in all of this? Because where you win, this is where you have to go. The three journeys: the journey of the child, the journey of the mother, and the journey of the father, to create this eternal heaven where you don't kill the ego, but you overstand it, and it works for you, not against you. So, incredible chapter.
Marie, did you have anything you wanted to add on this one before we move on?
Just real quick, I love that teaching, Charlie, that we don't really get rid of the ego, but we learn how to overstand it. Because that feels like something that we can all kind of approach. We can all look at this like, okay, this is the goal. This is what we're moving toward. And then the teaching around the refinement of light and how fine this path is. And I was just reminded of I had a few moments yesterday in the sun, and it was like I could see all of the little rays of light, and there were so many of them, and they were all different colors, and it was really extraordinary. And it reminded me of us, that that is our path. Like that line to the sun is what we're learning how to walk in every moment of every day. And those that accuse us, so when we look at, the accuser from 12:10, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our God day and night. Like that's what we're moving away from, this accusation, like this insanity of trying to put on this false narrative on the Son of Man. We are learning how to get really fine in there and keep our eyes focused on them and just put one foot for the other. That feels like something that we can do. We can do that. But if we're being accused, it's because the others can't deal with it. They can't deal with that walk. They can't deal with realizing their lightness and their needing to change their diet. And I'm always just like really fascinated by the people that want to teach us, or like want to tell us that we're off, or we're going the wrong direction. Like that's what we're learning from. But those cats, like, by what authority do they speak? And it's for us to embrace, like, we have authority in this because we're reading it. At least our intention is in that direction. We might not get all the numerology and all that, but we're fascinated by it. We want to learn it. And that's what I think is really important for all of us who are going to come to these videos later, is to realize that it's okay that we don't know. It's okay. We started the show, it's okay. But now is the time to start learning. And just let it go. Like, just because the history book said that Hitler was a bad guy, like, maybe there's more to that story. Just that potential makes you not an accuser, like makes you open and teaches you how to find those fine lines that we can walk. And that just, the other thing about this chapter that really resonated with me was how it just reminded me of the Gita and the Upanishads. And I'm not so familiar with that work, but I do love it. Just the imagery of it, just the fun, like all of the serpents' heads and all of that. And I remember when I first came to the yogic practices, I was really kind of shied about that. And like, I thought it was weird and I was scared about it. But I think that now what's happening for so many of us is we're loosening up the armor of fear. We're letting that go. And what's being revealed is just the armor of God that was there all the time. And that's what Charlie was saying too, about the strength that we need for this journey. It's true. I was telling the yoga students last night, pull your navel in, stand up tall, stop hunching over, lift your chin, relax your jaw, pull your tongue up, open your eyeballs, focus on something, like this is what we're doing right now. And it all brings us to the present moment. And that's where we're safe. That's where God is, in the present moment, right there. That gets us out of this thinking about the past or the future. It's like right here, right now. And that for me feels like a really maybe kindergarten interpretation of this chapter. But I also think that this is what we're learning how to do is to really take this material and make it so personal that you can't hide from it. And that's how we overstand the ego. The ego's there, but we're in this refinement of light that it gets almost funny. It's like in Harry Potter when all of the demons come and you laugh at how ridiculous they are. Like you just laugh so loud and then they disappear. And that's what we're learning to do as we continue to walk this path. And I'm just grateful to be in this conversation, because it was really powerful for me too, to hear the aspect of the children here. And it proves 100% that what you're saying is this book is magic. It's magic. Like how did they know? Like you can't explain these things with the mind, with logic and strategy. And so this is what we're learning to do, is to be the mystical creations that we are. And be like, wow. And these are the choices. You can't have one foot in each door anymore. And this is what people are resisting. And it's time to just stop resisting that. What I said to you, Charlie, yesterday, like, what are the benefits? I see the suffering on their faces. How does it feel to call someone you love a white supremacist when you know it's not true? You know it's not true. You're making things up because you can't deal with your own shit and your own shadow. And it's all you, because you can't even imagine that there might be more to the story of Hitler. Like, seriously, of course there is. Obviously there is. I think I'll pause there. But that's what this is about. It's like we gotta really unscrew. What you were speaking to about the brain was so potent, because yeah, how can I take someone else's opinion of me that fills their brain with alcoholic beverages and wheat and dairy? Like, how can we? And it's not a judgment. It's like, how can I take you seriously in this moment when I know you're acidic? And I know what it feels like to be acidic. I was acidic 7 seconds ago. Like, we're learning how to grow out of this. So if you're feeling the alkalinity, we don't need to take this all so seriously anymore. And that's what I'm really learning hardcore, is that, like, look, we're doing everything right. And there's no shame in saying that. And that's what these cats are afraid of saying, because they know they're wrong. They know that they're accusing innocence. They know that they're on the wrong side of this, and they're fighting it tooth and nail. And this is the gashing of teeth. Like, it's just stop fighting it. Why are you fighting God? God loves you. God wants you to be with him. It's not that hard. It's actually really fun. Beautiful people come into your life. If you think that this is about another weird thing, then God bless you and good luck, because this is not what that is at all. And it's time to, like, snap out of it.
Yeah, well said, Marie. That was fantastic. And what comes to me when you say that is it all comes back to a lack of responsibility, a lack of desire of wanting to take responsibility, of taking ownership, that I am making a choice. It's again playing into that victim mentality, that things are happening to me and I can't do anything about them, and I'm just going to be this victim and blah blah blah. But it's all about a lack of responsibility, and Revelation is all about responsibility. That's like the central theme is take responsibility, make the choice, and we just got to get really simple with that and come back to it, and it's clear.
And that's the choice, isn't it? When you overstand your ego, you still are at choice. You can go back, but the suffering, and you don't want it. And you don't want it for your brothers and sisters. Why do you think we're doing this crap? Like, why do you think we sit here all day? Like, we want you, we love you. Like, this is about love. This isn't about anything other than love. How can I be responsible for this? How can I know this and not do everything I can to share it? That would be a cop out, and that would be irresponsible on my end. I have to do this. It's like that's what's happening. It's like, what about, all the things? Well, I don't care about any of that. None of that matters. They're going to eat your fucking kids. Sorry I said that, but like seriously. And they will. And maybe not, literally, even though that happens, but what was happening to my kids on some level was that it's breaking their spirits. And we cannot allow this for another moment in time. Can't. And that's what this movement is all about. I'm really moved in this moment, because the mother is there for us, and it's really important that we acknowledge this, just the severity of this moment, like how intense this is. This is responsibility 100%, Justin. I'm so glad you brought it to that, because everybody's like, well, obviously she's a neo-Nazi. Like, seriously? Come on. Like, come on. How does that work for you? How do you feel when you say that? It's poisonous. It's untrue. How does that feel? Do you want to feel that way? No. Well, then stop doing that and listen.
And remember, for everyone, is that the truth is there in plain sight, but you have to work hard to get it. They don't make it easy, and they hide it. So for those of us that are not lazy and will not simply take the coast to coast radio truth version of history, and that we're Homo erectus, and we were genetically altered by the Anunnaki, and Hitler is a Rothschild, and that's why I put out all those supporting documents you work hard to find, that are literally showing newspapers of Adolf Hitler capturing Baron Louis Philippe Rothschild, whose headquarters in Vienna, Austria, was running the Federal Reserve banking system of the world. So he didn't just do this for Germany and Austria. He did this for everyone. He didn't invade Russia, and he didn't dislike or hate the Russian people. He was liberating the Russian people. He was liberating the Lithuanians. He was liberating everyone along the way. He was going for the vampires. He was going for the jugular of evil on this earth for everyone. For everyone. All you have to do is just do your own research. It's hard. It takes a lot of time because they hide it and they make it incredibly difficult. That's why I'm so passionate about Nikola Tesla. That's why I'm passionate about Gaudi. That's why I'm passionate about Henry Ford. That's why I'm passionate about Abraham Lincoln, because I had to do the work to find out the truth. And you know, it's untenable for me as a kid, as I told you, being so drawn for whatever reason to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy, growing up as a young man in Canada, of all places. And why would I care about these Americans? But I did. And everything that I devoured reading, you're just going, but that's not the truth. But that's not the truth. Where is the truth? How do I discover it? It's so frustrating. Where is the truth? And it just takes so long. And once you discover it, then you have a passion, because you had to work so hard to create this truth. And virtually everyone out there who has an opinion, and that's why opinions are like assholes, because they're just assholes, because they haven't done any work. They haven't done any work to have an opinion. They just took it from somebody else. And they took it from a textbook in a schoolroom. You want to talk about hell on earth? A textbook in a schoolroom. Yeah, that's hell on earth. That's lie upon lie upon. But that's where you want to get things and cast judgment upon others. Do your research. How do you think I know all? So many things have come to me, but I've had to work so hard to know. Back when we were, going crazy on YouTube and all of that, when I was doing all of those videos about human physiology, and especially about the brain and where everything was located, and explaining the Chrism oil journey and how everything works, Colleen knows this. We had so many doctors from all over the world that were sending us messages going, how do you have a better understanding of the brain? And I'm a brain specialist in what I do here in Amsterdam. And you have a better understanding about the brain and how everything works than I do. How is that possible? And it's because it comes from God. It's the one story. If you understand that story, it explains everything, and how everything, where everything is located, and how it has to flow and how it has to work. It all comes from that highest truth. And then it all filters down. That's that purple rain. But to achieve the purple rain, you have to wear the crown. So that means you have to know the fullness of this creation. So you still believe you're eating meat, dairy, and eggs. You believe the earth is tilted, wobbling, spinning, twirling, and is a glow ball. And you believe Adolf Hitler's a bad guy. And you're wondering why I know the brain better than you do. It's just because I know the truth. That's it. So that's the problem with university. That's why I said having 3 university degrees is not a feather in your cap. It is a stone tied to your ankle, and it drags you deeper and deeper into dark waters. Dark waters, Sherlock, all your life, dark waters. Dan Fogelberg, the moment you're born and you don't even know how to swim, and you just sink deeper and deeper into dark waters, and you're trying to get home with a rock tied to your ankle. And those are the lies. Those are the lies of this world. And the only way you get out of it is to let go. It's just to let go, stop resisting, let it drag you to the bottom, and then you will see the eucatastrophe. Then you will see the miracle, but you have to let go. And that's this no fear of death. This is the biggest key of all, is you have to lose your fear of dying, because you have to know. So that the leap of faith, that's why I said many, many shows ago, you can't come to the leap of faith soon enough in your life, because that's that moment that you cross over the river. Don't kid yourself. The leap of faith is Jacob crossing the river, wrestling his ego for a day, and meeting God face to face in a place called Pineal. I know There's a chasm. I can't see a bridge. It seems very far. I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. And when you know, you do. When you know better, do better. When you know, you do. The motor of this world, the people that write the stories, that create, that invent, create, all of these things, these are the ones that know, and then they do. And that's why there are so few of those. Because most people don't know. They take it for granted. And that's why this all has to stop. That's why the system has to crash and burn, and it's going to. And when it does, you watch what happens to gold and silver. And in particular, silver, because silver has been targeted by these demons because it's their bane. And you watch what happens to $500 worth of silver coins. $500 worth of silver coins. You watch and see how much that becomes for you in the next little while. And this is what the book of Revelation is teaching you. This is the truth of truth. Now, we're going to get Marie to read 13. Remember that this is 13. So this is the Christed nature, and that there are 18 passages, okay? So 13 and 18 is 31. And the mirror of 31 is 13. Remember? 31 and 13. The mirror of 31 is 13, and we're in chapter 13. So this is all about the journey of man, and you have to rise above the mark of the beast. So we'll get Marie to read this, and we'll all chime in, and it's a great chapter.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon that gave power unto this beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their forehands, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had that mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Beautifully done, beautifully done, Marie. So What is being pointed out is exactly what's going on right now. What is being pointed out is that after the dragon came a beast, and that the beast was given the same powers as the child of man, and looked very similar, which we're going to get into in just a sec here, looked very similar to the child of the man, but was the beast. And that's all that you're dealing with here. This is what you're dealing with. Politicians who wear these fancy suits and, who kiss a baby on their campaign to earn votes, and then spend the rest of the year doing demonic, satanic, evil things. Or businessmen who make themselves wear top hats and silk waistcoats and three-piece suits, making them look honest and integral and mighty, when they are just decrepit, disgusting, vile monsters from the swamp, dressing themselves up. But it's just like what Tesla said about Einstein's theory of relativity. It's still a bum from the slums. Doesn't matter that you dressed it up in purple robe. It's still a slum. It's still a bum from the slums. Is what these lies are. Is what the twisting, turning, spinning, wobbling earth is. And that's all they do. That's all they do, because that's all they know to do, is try to mask themselves. And then if they have to mask themselves, they want you to mask yourself, and they get off on it because you're the child of God. Because you are the chosen one. They know that. They know that because Cain's plan was murdering Abel, murdering Adam to become Adam, calls himself Adam, and then rapes the mother again and again and again, so that his becomes the forced chosen bloodline. Does that not explain everything that's gone on? Does that not explain these monsters to a T? It's exactly what's happening. So let's just go over a few key passages here. So do you understand what's being said? And the beast which I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So what is being said? The beast which I saw like unto a leopard. What's a leopard? It's a carnivore. It stalks its prey. His feet were as the feet of a bear. What do we know about bears? They can swim like fish. They can climb trees like nobody's business. They're great hunters. They're great hunters, and there's nowhere you can go, and they can outrun you. So that's the thing with these bears, is that where do you get away? They swim like a fish, so you jump into the river to get away. No, they swim like a fish. You climb a tree, they climb trees like nobody's business, and they run faster than us. There's no getting away. That's why the feet of a bear. That's why a leopard, and then the mouth of a lion. That's everything, right? Because they can speak. And they're good at lying to you. And that's what they do. What they do is and the story about, oh my God, is I haven't even gone over half the stuff about what I know about Germany and World War II. But one of the things that these monsters did at the end of World War II is they took tens of thousands of German women, beautiful, gorgeous, blonde-haired, blue-eyed German women, and they took them all to Antarctica. Now, this is historical fact. Do your research. It's there. I'm not making this up. It's there. Thousands of German women were taken out of Germany to Antarctica. Where do you think the Brad Pitts of the world come from? Where do you think the Matt Damons of the world come from? These monsters look like shit. They are shit. Their thoughts are pure shit. They're disgusting and vile. You ever looked at a Rockefeller? Ever looked at a Rothschild? They are hideous to look at. Can't have that in a movie. Can't have them in a movie. So they hide behind the scenes, and they breed and they breed and they breed with the finest seed. So that's what all the royal families are now. They've just been bred into by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, breeding their vile seed into what once were these pure bloodlines. And so this is where the Brad Pitts of the world come from. World War II, Nazi Germany, oh yeah, Hitler creating heaven upon earth, and then they raided the Garden of Eden. Did they ever do that before? Is that not repeating a pattern for them? And that's what they did. And then they took these women, and then they bred them and bred them and bred them, and then till second, third generation, you had people with the tongues of lions, and who suddenly didn't look so hideous, and you made them your politicians. Is that not Barack Obama? Right? Is that, you look at these people, and they've refined this process again and again and again so that they can give you the beast who looks like a man. The beast who looks like a man. And they are carnivores, and they are hunters, and that's what they do their entire life. They are hunting for you to take back heaven by force. And that's the parable of Nimrod and the Tower of Babel and Babylon, is taking heaven by force. And they do that through adrenochrome, through the adrenals, through the pineal and the pituitary glands. That's taking heaven by force. So what we're dealing with here. So, and then you worship because there's great power there. Just read the story. Like if you do some research on General Albert Pike or what's his name that lived in Loch Ness, Aleister Crowley. Just read the true stories about guys like that and what they went through in their life, and they went through hellish experiences. And they realized that they were just unworthy sinners. And then what they discovered is that there's great power in evil. And that's it. That's it. And then they just become part of a club. And it's the club evil. And it's the same club they hit you over the head with every single day when they tell you what to eat and what to dress like and what to think and what to do. It's a club. It's a big club. You're not in it because you're the children of Abel. And they're the spawn of Cain. And that's what they do. And that's what's being said here again and again and again and again and again. And they've synthesized this process to make the leopard and the bear and the lion look as smooth as possible. So out comes Barack Obama, and everybody just, he gets the Nobel Peace Prize even before he became president. And then he turns out to be the biggest warmongering president in the history of the United States. He got American more term machine to history, and he received the Nobel Prize before. So because they synthesized the problem, make it as palatable for you as possible. So this is the beast, but we made it as nice to look at as possible. And that's what Hollywood is. George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Generations of synthesizing these ugly monsters into something that's passable. And every time they open their mouth, they blaspheme God. They blaspheme the name and the tabernacle, which is all they do. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life. So once again, where are we at? If your name is not in the book of life, you're a Satanist. I didn't say that. I'm regurgitating it from the Bible. That's what is just written here. If your name is not in the book of life, and you have to do the work, by the way, you have to get off your lard ass and you have to actually do the work. And And if you do the work, then you can put your name into that book, because it's not limited to 144,000. It's a frequency. There can be millions and millions and billions in that book because it's a frequency number. It's not a limitation number of 144,000. It's the frequency of 144,000. And that's what's being said. So they worship him, and your friends and your family and your parents, and they're worshiping Satan. And if you try and tell them that, then they worry about you. What? If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of saints. What is being said? An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If you want to live like a monster, you're going to look like a monster, and you're going to die like a monster. It's your choice. That's how it works. It's called instant karma. John Lennon wrote a song about it. You might want to check it out. But the flip side is true as well. If you want to live like Michael and the angels, then ye shall look like Justin, and ye shall look like Marie. So do the work. Cast thy net to the right. Don't fall in line with these monsters. And it all starts when somebody comes along and says, I can do it for you. No thanks. No thanks. I don't care if I get it wrong a million times. I need to do it for myself. Goodbye. Thank you, Democratic Party. That's Democratic Party is. Let me do it for you. No thank you. I'd rather screw up myself and learn from my mistakes and eventually get it right by doing it myself. No thank you. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwelt therein to worship the first beast, and the deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of many men, and deceiveth them that dwell on earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by sword and did live. So what reason I read that to you, these are all the people that have come to you out of the spiritual community, and out of the evangelist community, and out of the priest and pastor and everyone in these religious communities. This is the second beast. And they're creating great miracles through the power gifted to them by the first beast, which is what? Deception. So then they trick you with magic on TV, or they lie to you. So then I'm the great healer. So you're watching me on television in a studio owned and operated by Satan, and he puts his hand on the forehead of a lady and says, I heal you, and you can now walk. And so she rises and she starts walking. Well, maybe she could just walk beforehand, and they were just lying to you to get your money. That's what's being said. And it's powerfully saying that this is the religious community. And what did I say to Justin before the show started today? Once again, if your knowledge of God is equal to that of those who teach the Bible in organized religion, so priests and scribes and lawyers, then you shall never know God. You shall never know God. You shall never know Jesus Christ. And when you come to the door of St. Peter's, Jesus will say, depart from me, for I never knew you. That's the truth. Again, might sound a little hard to hear, but it's the truth. And that's what these religious people are. And just all the stuff coming out about Billy Graham, and then Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son. Franklin Graham tied so close to these voodoo donuts, and I don't even want to go into it. Don't even want to go into it. It's so horrible. So these, and for my dad, who really, really, really liked Billy Graham a lot, and I always thought Billy Graham gave me the creeps. Never liked the man at all. Dad really liked Billy Graham, and I know that this will be very hard for Dad to find out that Billy Graham is Satan's spawn. And Franklin Graham, and the list goes on and on and on and on. They're not the exception to the rule, they're the rule. And why do you think Catholic priests rape so many children? Because they're chosen. Why do certain people become cops? And all these people, you go, well, that guy should have become a cop and he never got accepted. It doesn't make any sense because they don't want that person. They want morally flexible people that can be influenced to do the wrong thing in the moment. That's who they hire to become priests. They put predators in first contact with your young children. It's not an accident, it's done on purpose. The raping of all of these children is not like some afterthought, it was purposeful. And what have Catholics all over the world done over the last 100 years as all of this has come out again and again and again and again? They've apologized for the church. They've called their children liars. And they've apologized for the church. That's a Satanist. Again, I'm sorry if you think that is harsh. That's a Satanist. Don't believe your child. Stand up for some Catholic priest and because Roman Catholicism is the Church of Jesus Christ. Yike, you're Satan. Sorry to say, but you're Satan. Jeez. That's what's being said here. And he had power to... Okay, now at the end, 16, 17, 18. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Get it? You get it? You can't play their game unless you wear the mark in your right hand and upon your forehead. Get it? So who is making the hit records now since the 1980s? Who are the famous chefs? What are the most successful coffee shops? Starbucks, because it's Satan. Which is the donut shop that has the biggest success and makes Voodoo Donuts, because it's Satan. Just look around. Who's sold, 1 trillion hamburgers? McDonald's, because it's Satan. You don't get to win unless you're in on it. That's how it works, and that's what the Bible's saying. Once they have taken charge, they only let people in who wear the mark of Satan upon their right hand and on their brow. 666. And you need to right the ship, which is 999. 360 degrees, 3 and 6 is 9. 720 hours, 72. 3 days and 3 nights, 7 and 2 is 9. 1260, 42 times 30, 1260. 1 and 2 and 6 is 9. 999. You have to go on this journey of divinity, of purity, of righteousness, and you right your ship. God does not stand in judgment that you became a Satanist. He gets it. He gets it, and he's crying out for you. But when you know better, do better. That's why we exist. That's why we're here to take a pounding from all these people that don't have a mind to research for themselves or to think for themselves, and who just cast stones. Because we have to show you the way. And once you know better, you can do better. No questions asked, no judgment against you, just right the ship. 666 becomes 999. Who cares?
Uh-oh. Might have lost Charlie for a second. But I'll quickly jump in there. So I would include also with the second beast is those speaking lies within the truth community and coming out, under this veil of this illusion that they're speaking the truth and advocating for the truth, and yet they still lie. And this is just the deceptions that ride on, that do play a hand in this beast. And we had a good question in the chat about prophets and those claiming to be receiving the word of God, on YouTube and wherever else. And, that I'm not saying that there aren't any out there that are truly doing the work and receiving the word of God and being genuine in that regard. But I would be extremely wary of anyone claiming that, especially, it's all about discernment, and we really have to take a look at what are they doing? Is this person who's claiming to be receiving the word of God, are they still eating meat? Are they still killing animals and consuming their flesh? Or do they still believe that the earth is a spinning ball? Or in any other major lie, if they're not fully on board with the holistic truth, all of it, then there's some level of deception that they're either consciously pushing or they're not aware of and they're still pushing. And so anyone who's fully in tune with God is not going to have any of those deceptions within their field of how they are and how they come across. So it's just really, which really refines the amount of people that are doing it. And that's why Charlie gets so frustrated all the time with people, because he's like he says, everyone's a fucking liar. And we laugh at that, but it's not, and it's not that everyone's intentionally lying. But if you're not doing the work to the capacity where you're absorbing the whole truth and starting with that as your foundation, then you are deceiving, you are lying, you are pushing lies. And so that's what we have to get really clear on. And that's what all of this is about, is the more that we listen to this book and we shine our light, when we make these words on these pages become living, breathing, and we embody them, then we shine our light and no one can deceive us. We become this spotlight that nothing can get past. Our discernment is so infallible that it doesn't matter what sort of mask anyone puts on, it doesn't matter what beast they embody, they're not going to be able to deceive you. And that's why they've done such a good job at keeping us from doing this work, because as soon as we decide to do it, the jig is up, the game is over, and they cannot win anymore, because all of a sudden, like, we've got it all. They can't deceive. They can't do it. It's not about some external solution that it's about empowering yourself so that there's no way around it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, because this chapter is extremely powerful, because it does, there's a lot of people who talk about, the two beasts and what they could mean, and trying to draw parallels into the timeline. And yes, there are many layers to how this book can be read, and there are certainly parallels that you can draw on into what's happening. But we really do need to be taking a look at it from the highest level, which is the allegorical representation of who this is and who this represents within our lives. And the deceptive beasts and how they play out is a powerful one to remember, because again, it goes back to that responsibility. We have to take responsibility of acknowledging where we've been deceived and say, okay, I'm gonna be humble, be responsible, take responsibility of that, and say, I was deceived. I was wrong. That opens up everything. We've talked about that before, but we have to acknowledge that. So yeah, just wanted to say all that. Glad we got Charlie back. Marie, did you want to touch on anything there?
I just want to say that was brilliant, Justin. That was so good. I mean, it was so good. And Charlie didn't hear it, so I'll do my best to just maybe give a few lines. But he said, our discernment becomes infallible when we do this work. Our discernment becomes infallible, and we become like a spotlight, because we can see through the lies. No one can deceive us anymore. No beast, no whatever face they're wearing, whatever mask they're wearing, we can see it over there going kind of crazy. But there's so much spaciousness between us and them. And that's because we're not accepting lies anymore and calling it the truth. The truth is the truth. And our mission, our life is all about accepting God's truth. We're an extension of God. We're not God. We didn't create ourselves. And that's a really, really important distinction that I think a lot of these cats don't want to budge on. So if we've got truthers out there that, are still protecting, the globe, or still protecting whatever lie that they like because they don't want to be perceived a certain way in the community or whatever, that shows you they're not fully in alignment with God, because you don't care what the truth is. You just want to be in alignment to it. You don't care if the world was a globe, then okay. but it's not the truth. So like that's what this whole thing is about. It's like it's not about accepting some of it or trying to save face and your reputation and all that stuff, because what does it say later in here? And that no man might buy or sell save that he that had the mark. So you're not worried about your business. You're not worried about any of that. None of that matters anymore once you get spotlighted. And the other thing that you said, Justin, that was so great was that you get so woke that it doesn't, it just literally, you can't stand for anything anymore. And you're willing to say what you just said. Like you're lying. And you're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. It's not about that. I lied. I didn't even know I was doing it. It's not even you, it's your ego. It's your false consciousness. It's not even you. You don't even have to take responsibility for it if you're willing to change it. You have to deal with the karma and the effect of that. Yeah, you got to do the work. Like sometimes I think I get so fried because I voted for Obama. I didn't know. I did not know. I was so excited. I drank the Kool-Aid. It's going to be amazing. Where's the golden age, Obama? Where did it go? Where's all the love? Where's all the hope? You made it so much worse. So this is the karma that we have, we're burning through right now. But it's okay because God is the God of the living. And it's all about love. It really is. In my mind, it's like the minute you go, it's like, look, I just want the love. Think what you want. I just want the love. I don't care about what you think anymore.
Yeah, well, don't feel bad about voting for Obama. What was your option? McCain, who had cancer 2 or 3 times before he was 74 years of age, and let me talk about devil. Wow, and then Sarah Palin, and you vote. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. They didn't give you a choice. They forced you in one direction.
Good.
Yeah, and another thing, Charlie, I added on. I feel the second beast also encapsulates the so-called truth community and those who deceive within that. So just wanted to throw that aspect in there as well. But yeah, it's a powerful chapter and a great reminder. We ready to move on to 14? You're muted, Charlie.
We are, and Justin, do you want to read these 20 verses?
Yep. All right, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, which whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever. And they have no rest nor night, no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and the blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Wow.
Way to go. Beautiful. This is some deep stuff, guys. I mean, what the heck is going on here? Whew. Go for it, Charlie. I mean, you want me to? Babylon is fallen. Thank the good Lord. That's great news. She made the nations drink the wine of the wrath of her fornication. I mean, there it is again. Oh my God. I get so excited when it's like, you know, the holy angels, like when it's speaking about us, I feel like I'm finally receiving myself as one of them, you know, one of us as angels. That feels really wonderful. And to be able to say that we've crossed that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much so. So it is a very beautiful passage, and again it starts with the Lamb who stood on Mount Zion. So remember, the letter Z is the culmination of the entire journey. So if you are the Lamb that's standing on Mount Zion, you are the one who has 360 degrees, who has spent 3 days and 3 nights in the tomb, and who ran into the wilderness and took only the nourishment of God for 1260 days. This is the 999. So you've righted the ship, and that's the end of this story, and that's why it's the letter Z. So think about Zion, Z, which is the mark of Zorro, which is again father, child, mother. Father, child, mother in perfect harmony and balance, unified above and below, the two worlds unified. That's why it's Mount Zion. And then ion is the basis to all of us, the microparticle that makes up the cells. It's our base essence. And when your base essence is ruled over by the Z, you've won. You've won. So then that's why in the Matrix, the movie Matrix, the last city free from the left brain Mr. Smith computerized world, facts, figures, and logic, right? It's just an allegory of the left brain monsters, was Zion. And that's because you have achieved it. You've done the work and you've achieved this higher standing, this higher place, Zion. And Z-I. So then this is the perfectly balanced divine I, single I on Z. So that's why Zion. And 144,000, once again, do not worry about this ever. Not ever, ever, ever worry about this. It is not a fixed number. It's a frequency. And those who sing the universe wear the mark of 144,000, because that's the frequency that you use. And this is the significance of these 3 journeys, because the 3 journeys add up to 2340. And when you look in the mirror in the moment, it's 432 hertz, which is this God frequency. That's what we're talking about. And as they sung, as if it were a new song, because this is resurrection, this is, the Bible is an RE book, not a DE world like they've created. This is the RE world. And it's a new song before the throne, before the 4 beasts and the elders, and no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So again, you can't learn it because you don't have that frequency. And that's the thing. Let me put this in plain, simple terms for everyone. If you're watching channel 2 and kicking your TV because you can't get God on channel 9, it's your fault. It's your fault because you are so inured in distraction, you don't even recognize all you had to do was change the frequency, the channel, to channel 9. I can't get God on channel 2 anymore. Yeah, he's over on channel 9. Turn the channel, right? Change your frequency. That's what's being said. And these are they which were not defiled with women. So this is not putting down women, which is what the church does all the time. That's not what that means at all. And before the 4 beasts and the elder, no man could learn the song. Blah, 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 blah. So this is not for they are virgins. So then it's like, yeah. So you're sacred and you're pure and you're righteous if you do not fall into the trap of fornication with women. Right. Well, what does fornication mean? That's sin. That's sin, and that's allowing your emotions to rule you, and that's the 5 in 1, the 5 over the 1 instead of the 1 over the 5. And that's the Jim Morrison song from The Doors, 5 and 1, 1 and 5, no one here gets out alive. And that's crucifixion. You must cross the river to stand over the 5 physical senses. And that's intuition and telepathy, which are the 6 and 7 chakras, which are the 6 and 7 virtues as well. So you have to stand over the physicality in the metaphysicality, which is the realm of God. So this is what's being said here, very, very importantly. It's not putting down women, and it is not saying that you cannot be. But if you're going to be with a woman, then it needs to be out of love. And then that is a frequency, like Marie teaches and says all the time, I believe love is the answer, I believe love is the way. That's right, because love is action. Love is a verb, not a noun. What's love? Oh, I can write stories, I can write books, I can write paragraphs about love, but you can't do it, can you? You can write about it, but you can't do it. So you have no love. Love is a verb, it's not a noun. You don't describe love, you do it. You show it. You become it. That's what love is. So therefore, love is a frequency. Guess what that frequency is? 144, 432. It's that same frequency because it all comes through God. Mother and the Father united as one. And it says, there are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth, and they are redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And again, this is the first fruits are again showing you that this is a journey, and this is what we're supposed to do, and that there are many who have done this before. So we're not the first, and we won't be the last. And that this is telling you this is why you're here. So you're not here to do a job. You're not here to have a career. You're not here to have a big bank account. You're here to do the sacred work, to know God, and then you illuminate. And then you share the light of the world within you, which is the 13th cranial nerve, which is already built, it's already there. You just have to go there, which is a journey. That's why man is associated with journeys, and this journey is to rise up and to the right, up and to the right, not back and to the left, back and to the left, up and to the right. So that's the sacred importance, because it's telling you our entire purpose. And in their mouth was found no lie, no deception, for they are without fault before the throne of God. That's right. You have to be, and you will be, because you're just enamored with all things that are good, which is God. And and don't you love this? Because we're on the cusp of this right now. And so, 14:8, which is 22, which is the mother, and this will be the year 2022. So this is very, very apropos in its placement here within the Bible. So this is the last book, Revelation, and this is chapter 14, verse 8. 14 and 8 is 22. And in the year 2022, we will say, and there followed another angel saying, and I'll bet you this literally happens. I'll bet you this literally happens, that there will be a miracle of the sky and a voice saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of wine of the wrath of her fornication. Babylon is fallen. And now comes the time of peace. Now comes the realm of God. And by the way, this is, if for those of you who have read The Lord of the Rings, Justin is just in the Two Towers, and Gandalf has come back, and we're rushing off to Helm's Deep. But as he gets to the near the end of the Return of the King, this is precisely what Tolkien writes, as the people of Minas Tirith sat and waited, stood and watched and waited upon the walls, hoping to hear word that their new king, which had swiftly come and healed them, and then went off to a war against all odds in the east, would come back to them. And a great eagle came flying upon the winds, upon the breath of God, out of the east, flying as fast as sound itself. And he sang a great song to the people of Minas Tirith, and he said, Rejoice, rejoice, for the kingdom of hell, Mordor, has fallen. And ye children, ye children's defiance of evil has not been in vain, and your faith has been accounted for, and the miracle has occurred, and your king shall return to you. And that's why Tolkien wrote. That's what he's saying, because Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Here is the patience of the saints, and here are they that keep the commandment of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Ye, saith the Spirit, and they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. Upon the cloud one sat like unto a son of man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying in a loud voice to him that sat upon the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat upon the cloud thrust his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, having a sharp sickle. And another angel came from the altar, which had power over the fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for the grapes are fully ripe. Sickle is the moon, the crescent moon, the shapely curvaceousness of the beautiful mother, in perfect harmony and balance with the Father, and is the child who sits upon a cloud in heaven with a crown of gold upon his head. And now, using the sickle of the mother, the beautiful shape, the crescent shape of the mother, he thrust forth into the abundance of earth as the Son of Man. This is your story. This is what's coming. This is what we are on the cusp of. And this is why 2020 needed to be the year for you to have vision, a clarion call for you to begin to see the truth and to waken up. And this is why 2021 has to be this year in great transition and turmoil, because everything has been leading to 2022. 222, the sacred feminine mother. No longer the whore of Babylon, but the virgin mother, Mary, who rose with child to God in heaven and created heaven upon earth. Now her bosom is full, and it is ready to reap in abundance for free. And this is what we're standing upon. This is our view. This is what's being said. And this is why the Q team is giving you chance after chance after chance to cast your net to the right, to get on the right-hand side of this, because they want you to enjoy the benefits. Because those of you who, out of ego, continue to deny this, and in the face of all that's coming, continue to make up excuse after excuse, versus then just simply say, I was wrong, I don't care, I just want to be happy. Oh, thank you, Lord, for the salvation. I shall never forget, and I shall be ever vigilant, and I thank you, O Lord. If you do that, ye shall receive. If you do not do that, woe unto you. And you're not going to make it. And those are the ones that are not going to make it. And they have themselves to thank for it, because at the end of the day, it's simply them clinging to the ego and saying it's too strong. And the weight of the water of the whirlpool is sucking me down, and I can't get out. And that's your choice. And that's all I have to say about this chapter. Over to you.
Okay, me. It just came to me as that visual of the whirlpool, that like, and you guys call me out on this if I'm going on a weird track, but like, maybe that's okay, and I know that you'll say that's okay, but maybe their function was to get us this far. And then it's like, I can see all of the hard and all of the end and how hard it is. Like, nobody wants to do this because it's hard, or it is, at least in the beginning, because you basically have to let go of all your friends, all your family, all the things you thought were real, all of the food that you loved, all of the holidays. Like, it's initially like a loss thing that I think a lot of us that have been, raised in this world of illusions, we realize like we're going through this massive loss and detox until we start to see the benefits, which happen quite quickly. It's difficult. And so it's like, I can see people just being like, I can't do that. Like, I have to eat pizza. Like, they're getting taken away, but maybe that's okay. That's just a part of it. I love how you laugh at me, but I'm really trying to sort this out in my head, because I don't want to be judgmental. I hate how that makes me feel. I want to wake people up, but they say to me, it's not your job to wake us up. Like, you can't force a rosebud to grow. And I'm like, so I get into these kind of situations where I hear something like this and I read it and I feel the blessing of like this moment in time and everything that's coming to us. And I just feel sad that so many people are resisting it. It does. I feel like I love these people, we're not calling you Satanists to be dickheads. Like, we're like, God, like, do you realize what's happening here? Like, but I don't know. It's just, I see it. I can see it. And when I heard Charlie Freak, the last thing in my mind was he was a neo-Nazi. It was like, seriously, it was like, wow, thank you for someone to tell the truth finally, because I never heard it before. Never heard it before out loud, ever. So we should be grateful. I don't know. I'm still kind of, that's what I got.
Well, I think it's all perfect. It's all perfect, and as far as what we're going through and where each of us are in our journey and what we're experiencing. And I wouldn't discount the fact that it feels like we're in the minority right now because this year is going to be quite transitional and quite abrupt. We've just taken the opportunity to have it be a lot more graceful for us and to step into it early and take the path of less resistance. Um, but they're still going to be given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. You know, the floodgates are going to open, and people are going to have as many opportunities as they. I mean, not as many. It's there's going to be a limit, but the opportunities are going to grow and grow and grow and grow for all these other cats to get on the page, get on the right side of it. And the further along they go, the longer they wait to make that decision, it is going to be more and more painful for them to endure until they do make that decision. But as you said, there will still be some that don't and choose not, no matter what. They'll just dig their heels in and no matter what. And that's what we've spoken on before is kind of the importance of why this whole operation in this movie and everything that's playing out is to try and limit the number of those who give up as much as possible so that because it's sad to see the creation just give in and give up because it is a giving up, it's an abdication from reality, it's a stepping into the void and just saying, you know what, I'm not ready to go on, I need more time, or I just need to go back. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's sad to see that because it's where we lose part of our creative essence. You know, we're all this one connected infinite consciousness, and we don't want to see part of ourselves give in like that. And so that natural inclination that you have of wanting to share that, and that's the same thing that drives all of us, and it drives the Q team, and it drives the white hats, and it drives all of us to want to do the best that we can with this, um, and we should, but where we just shouldn't get tied to it to lose sight of what we're here to do for ourselves, you know, and to get stuck into that mind trap of like I'm trying to change someone's decisions and break their free will to make them do this kind of stuff. So it's a balancing act, and it has to be played that way. It is that middle path. Like the middle path is very difficult to walk on. It's a tightrope, you know, and it has to be met with that kind of balance. But you know, we're doing it, and we're coming out on this on the right side of it early on, so we're going to have a much easier time as we go through all this tumultuous period. And but we're here to help guide others as they start to realize like, and I really don't that they've done a really good job with this movie, so I do feel that it is going to be the vast majority that will eventually cast their net to the right and make the right decision. Like when all of these things start to come out, when all of these people that they thought were dead start to come back, and all of these things start to happen, like there's going to be so many just in your face opportunities to say, okay, you know what, let me take a look at this. Like that shit sucked the whole time that I was denying it, but as soon as I let the truth in, it feels so much better. It's that breath, you know, that big inhale, and it's like, wow, that feels so good. I didn't realize I was holding my breath, I didn't realize I was doing that the whole time. So we'll get there, but it is, you know, it's very, very prophetic, and it's very important to realize and relate with. Yeah, I hope that made sense, but
We're learning how to allow, just like really just allow it. I think Christ was an incredible example of that. I mean, all the insanity that has been played out in his name. I mean, talk about allowing, just allowing, knowing the truth and allowing the choice until it's just now where we're at, which is way out of bounds. And thank goodness this is happening. There's just
Yeah, and let me make a parallel between the Q team and Jesus Christ. What you just said about allowing all these things in His name, just the worst blasphemies. It's just incredible. And look at all the people that have been allowed to say that they get their intel from Q and that they're part of the Q team and that they're getting great amounts of subscribers and followers and donations, or people signing up to their product by saying that their intel is from Q and all of this stuff, and the Q team hasn't really said or done anything. They've allowed what needs to play itself out to play itself out. And there's a lot of people that have done incredible things, realizing that the Q team wasn't coming out and saying all that Q ever did was say, there's 10 people, there's not more than 10 people that know the entirety of all of this, and that there are no leaks outside of the team. And it's always been hinted that the team is very small and enclosed when you consider the wholeness of it. So people have been allowed to take great leaps on the back of Q and the Q team. So there's a real parallel that can be drawn there. And what I'd like to do is, if I could just read the 8 verses of chapter 15, and then we can close the show today with this. So Revelation chapter 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. Plagues for them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as if it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, that them had gotten the victory over the beast, over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. Wow. You talk about an incredible verse, 15:2. Wow. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues clothed in pure and white linen, having their breasts girded in golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts came unto the 7 angels, 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. Okay, so I'll pass it over to both of you, and then I'll have some closing remarks, and we'll just wrap up the show today.
Well, we get back into sevens. So this is going back to this completion of the 7 chakras, and looping us back into that. And then I see the sea of glass mingled with fire. I mean, is this potentially talking about walking on the water, walking on the maritime admiralty law, and walking above the waters? So it's just speaking to what happens when we fully acknowledge this process and complete the 7. And step into that. We're clothed in pure and white linen, and having our breasts girded with golden girdles. That's the pure and purity and white and gold. That's the completion. Yeah, this is powerful stuff. I mean, this is just another reminder, just like, hey, this is it. This is how to win the game. Do you want to? This is how you play it, and this is how you win. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. Not a whole lot of else.
Okay, Marie.
Um, the feeling that I feel here, we're talking about 15:3 through like 15:5, all of that. Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy works. Thou God of saints, who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? I just love all of that. It just feels for me like we're finally like accepting truth, all of us, like all of it. We're just like, and we're in it, and there's no conversation about it, or and we don't even need to understand it. It just is. That's really holy. For all nations come and manifest before thee. Thy judgments are made manifest. And I think we can stretch our imagination of judgments. It's not, it's intention. Its creation is made manifest as it was meant to be. That's what I got. So beautiful, though, it really is. That the imagery and all of the symbolism is incredible here. Really, I bow.
Beautiful, beautiful. Both of you, very well said. In 15:1, I saw another sign in heaven. So once again, that would be in the stars. Great and marvelous. There will be a sign, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as if it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. So this is really, 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 really key here. So I saw the sea of glass mingled with fire. So this is the water, baptism of water and the fire mingling together, this unification, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast. So this is overstanding over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name. So the Bible can't make it any more clear that this is about understanding, understanding, and overstanding. And we're talking about the victory, and this is overstanding, over and over and over and over. The number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So this is when you bring the fire, the baptism of fire, after the baptism of water, then this creates glass, right? You apply fire to sand and you get glass. And then you walk upon the crystalline waters because you are a 5D or crystalline structure. So all of this is relating to all of these terms and concepts that various groups and various people have taken from this, but it all relates back to the one story, the journey of man to unify 2 worlds and go through this baptism of water and this baptism of fire. So this 5D, what the spiritualist community called the 5D state, is this crystalline state. Yeah, that's the baptism of fire, which then crystallizes the water to glass, and you walk upon the water. And this you have to, because you are in a position of overstanding. So you're standing over the sharks who are now trapped on the other side of things under the glass of the sea. For the sea shall turn all to silvery glass. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Professor Tolkien. That's beautiful. And that is the mother in unification with the father, and the child walks home on this silvery path to the golden temple. So beautiful. That is such an amazing passage. And then that's having the harps of God. And by the way, harps, why harps are always being used with regard to purity and victory and the coming to God, because how do you have to pronounce the word harp? It's the breath of God. Harp. Harp. So harps play a frequency, which is what your breath is. That's what it's saying. Your breath is a frequency, and it's how you breathe. If you want to overstand, you have to control your breathing, and that'll take you to the baptism of fire. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, And through this entire process, all of you in this chat room, you've transmuted your name to Moses, Justin, Marie. You've taken on these great names of these great servants of God. You've done it. You've done it. You've made yourselves biblical. You've made the Bible real inside of you and upon this earth by doing the work. And so take great pride in this because you've brought the word of God to flesh. You've made this flesh by following this, believing in this, knowing this, and then doing this work. And you become Moses, you become Abraham, you become Sarai, Sarah. You have become Noah. You've become Joseph. You are King David. And you're Jesus Christ. And you're Mary Magdalene. You're all of those things to me. And I love you so much because you did the work. In the face of impossible odds, you did the work. And you brought the Bible to life, which is what God has wanted us to do forever, because it brings you life and it puts your name in the book of life. And you're now on there. You're part of the 144,000 frequency because you did the work. This is for you. Chapter 15 is for you. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? Who would do that? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And just listen to the speeches of President Trump. This is what he's saying. Moving forward, this world where God reigns supreme and all nations worship before thee. I saw a copy of that letter that Trump had been sending out, and this is back in I saw it in 2018, but it came from 2019, but it came from 2017 when he had taken over as president of the United States, and he sent this letter out to all the leaders of the world saying that moving forward, we're only going to do business. The United States is only going to do business in a righteous and moral way, and that your investments here will be most welcome, but they will be for life, not death. And this is the only way that we will do business moving forward, and that your investments will be protected. And they may not be killings with these huge numbers, but they will be, he said, they will be healthy. They will be healthy. Look at the word health. Heal and TH. TH is theology, which is the study of God. T is the physical man of the cross, and H is the breath of God. How do you heal yourself? Through God. That's what health is. Health is healing yourself through God. So it's always funny because we talk about food, and it's a great subject, and it needs to change. But how you heal yourself is taking the food that God provides for you. Why would any man, isn't this what chapter 15 is saying? Why would any man eat from a corporation? Why would you eat a Pop-Tart? Why would you eat a Pop-Tart? It's there to kill you. And they make you buy it, where you could walk out onto the road and pick an apple from a tree, and it's free. Tree, free. Pop-Tart, death. And they make you pay for it. Do you see how this works? Do you see how this works? Why would you eat food made from the hands of man? They hate you. They hate you and they're killing you. Just take what comes naturally and free in abundance from the mother. That's the sickle of the moon of the mother. She's been here the whole time, loving us the whole time, in sheer abundance the whole time. You own land? Really? Really? You're so rich and powerful that you own something that God created and is ruled over and caretaken by the mother? Really? Or are you just a clown? Are you a clown, wearing a clown's outfit in a carnal world, thinking that you own these things? That's a path paved to hell, if I ever heard one. Let go of your ego. Let go of your wallet. Let go of thought. Let go of blood. Let go of carnal. Let go of pleasure and pain, and take the bliss of purple rain, which is everlasting. Let go of this nonsense of the hands of man and accept God. That's what is being said here. And I looked, and I behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. That's a lot of words. The temple of the tabernacle of the testimony. Testimony are your testicles. That's how people always used to swear their oaths, by the way. When you swore an oath, you put your hands on your testicles if you were a man, or upon or a woman put her hand where her ovaries are and swore before God, because that is where you're most vulnerable. And that's why you swear an oath upon your vulnerability to God. And temple, you know the temple, and you know the tabernacle. And the tabernacle is the Ark of the Covenant, the third ventricle of the brain inside. And it's from testicles to temples to tabernacle. And that's the journey of man. That's 1 through 7, my friends, and that's the chakras. From the testicles into the temple and to the tabernacle. It's just so beautiful, and it's so simple, and it's so pure. And the 7 angels came out of the temples, having 7 plagues clothed in pure and white linen, having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And that's signifying the unification again between masculine and feminine, father and mother. And one of the 4 gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke. Open the vial. And from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. And that's letting go. That's letting go. And once you let go, then you're worthy of entering in. To just let go of this nonsense. It's just all nonsense. Do not take of the hand of man, take of God. And that takes faith, and that is trust. When you have trust, you know. And when you know, there's heaven. So when you know better, do better. That's why we're here, to share this wisdom with you. It's not our wisdom. It's just our courage and strength to come before you and share this great wisdom. Let go of this nonsense that you can do anything of yourself. Come home to the Father and the Mother. Make it all real. Make it all happen. And you've done it by being Jonah. And you fell into the fish, and you saw Freak Sense TV. And you met Justin, and you met Marie, because you fell into the fish because you were Jonah. And then you got into your boat, and you packed up everything into the boat, and everyone thought you were crazy, a conspiracy theorist, because a flood of lies was coming, but you didn't care. You didn't care, and you hopped into this boat trusting and knowing that the rain of lies was going to fall, and that the land was going to be flooded with these lies. And you did it, and you became Noah, and you were proven right because you were Noah. And then you wandered for 40 years in the desert as Moses, seeking the burning bush. And through your inner sense, you met God face to face. And he said, I am that I am. You did it. You made this biblical, my friends. You made this all biblical. You made the Bible come to life inside of you. And that's how it was meant to be. By you doing the work, you turn the Bible into a sinuous root that grows inside of you forevermore. It's the vine. This is the vine that grows inside of you. And you did it. And I'm so proud of you, and I love you forever. for the courage and the strength that you did, and especially the Noah Ark part, because everyone was calling you a nut and a fool. Everyone in your family, I know. So that's it. Over to Justin and Marie to close the show. I love you guys.
You're gonna make me talk? I'm like, geez, waterworks over here. My heart's exploding. It's like, what's going on? Just wow. Just wow. Thank you. So grateful. So grateful. So in love. Sometimes words just, it's this moment. I think we all feel it. We know. Thank you, Charlie. We love you so much. We just love you so much. So many people love you so much.
It makes it all worth it. This makes it all worth it,
Yeah, totally.
you know? So don't, it, it is hard. It's a difficult journey, but this makes it all worth it.
That's the real juice. It's the love. And over here. Oh,
Yeah, and remember, people write books about love, but very few people actually do it. Love is a verb, it's not a noun. Love is a frequency. And if you want to be of love, like Marie says, everything is of love, of value. It is. It's true. What she says is true. Then you have to do it. You have to wear the mark of God upon your brow. And that's love. And that's a frequency of 144,000, which is 432 hertz. And this is where you get the 12 times 30 and the 24 times 30 crystal clear vision, 1080p by 720, and this is where you get the 1260. You add them all together, and that's 2340, and the reverse of that is 432. And that's it. That's the frequency of God. That's the mark that you wear. There's no limit. Don't worry, ever. Don't fear death ever.
Yeah, there's nothing to fear. There's truly nothing to fear. Yeah.
oh, yummy in here.
I, I'm lost for words. I'm just in it.
I feel like my wings are gonna spread out. I'm just gonna like fly away. Whoa, you guys. You missed out. Thank you. You guys are amazing. This chat is hilarious. Do you see all the hearts?
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting wherever they are, like ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What more is there to say?
So much love. So much love. We're so blessed, you guys.
So yeah, I mean, this is just another powerful reminder of what we're here to do and what we're doing. We're doing it. You know, if you're listening to this, you're doing it. So keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. And it gets easier and easier and easier, and it gets better and better and better. There's no limit. There's no limit to it. So let's keep going.
It's gonna be so fun. It's like what Charlie said earlier. Like we're gonna rewrite the stories now. Here we go. We're gonna write all the poems, all the stories, all the curriculum, if there's any other than nature, all of it. We're just gonna live in harmony, which is what all of us have ever wanted anyway. Really, what did you want more than peace, love, and happiness, harmony, alignment, brotherhood?
Yeah. I'd like to taste a real strawberry again. I grew up in Victoria and summers doing nothing but picking strawberries from my dad's strawberry patch. They had a wonderful garden. I know what a strawberry looks like and I know what a strawberry tastes like. These frickin' things that they sell now are not strawberry. That's sick. That is sick. And again, that's a crime against mankind. These are crimes, and the punishment is going to be severe and swift. It already has. And I just want to get back to what's real, whatever that is. I don't care. I don't care. I have no agenda in this other than the truth. That's, I think, why Colleen and I have been successful. What did we say to you from the beginning? We got to a point where we said we know nothing. That's not easy to get to because you have a lot of letters behind your name and a lot of time and effort put into this. But you go, I'd rather admit that and then start to have some truth in my life than living a lie and not knowing anything. And the problem is the vast majority of people literally don't know anything that is related to the truth. Not a thing, not a single shred of things. And that's because their mind programming is 24/7, 365, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And your parents are in on it, whether they mean to be or not, and I know a lot of you great, and I have fantastic parents, but it doesn't change the fact that they were big proponents of the lie. And you're dying. When you live a lie, you're dying. When you live the truth, you're living. God is the God of the living. God is truth. Just need to know that. What is Jesus Christ? More than anything else, Jesus Christ, no, he was the truth. And people didn't like that. Jesus Christ was the truth. Why? Because God is the creator. He is the truth. What God created is the truth. Jesus spoke only the truth. And that's why he rose to heaven as the Son of Man. So if you want to do the same, you just live the truth. You don't have an agenda beyond that. Who cares? Who cares? Stop taking yourself so seriously. Take the journey seriously and take the rewards seriously, but stop taking yourself so seriously. We keep falling and falling and falling, but somehow we keep getting up. And that's the mother inside of us. That silvery strength that teaches us and tells us intuitively to rise. And we do. And we're champions. We are. And this is all biblical. And this is so much fun. And we have seven chapters to go, and then we're finished the book of Revelation. And after that, I'll announce, even to Marie and Justin, I'm going to just take a break, and then I'm just going to sit, focus, finish the book, because that's most important, is getting this book finished. And Justin and Marie are at a point where they don't really need me anyway, so they'll be able to do wondrous shows and wondrous things, and I'll do this book.
Well,
It's very special, and
yeah, I would love the book for sure, and I think it'll be perfect timing. We might all be kind of taking a little bit, or I might need to take a little break too because I'll be traveling down there, and I don't know what sort of internet I'll be working with for a minute. So, so it might be a pause for a minute, but we'll play it by ear and see what happens. But yeah, this was a fantastic show, and I'm excited to finish Revelation and just put that finality in the story that we're our hero's journey, the one that we're playing out. So thank you all for being here. I love y'all so much. Um, yeah, truly so much love. Um, just announcement, I guess tomorrow you've got everything under the sun. What time are y'all starting? 1 noon?
12.
Noon. Okay.
No, one, sorry, one.
One 1 Central. So 1 Central. So same time this starts tomorrow at 1 Central. Um, I'll probably do I'll probably do a Telegram chat tomorrow, maybe 4 Central, I'm thinking. Um, so stay tuned for that. And then yeah, we start next week with Miraculous Monday. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here.
Anyone's around tonight at 8:30 Central, I'm going to be meeting with Denby James, talking about yoga and some stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Tune in for that.
Thank you, you guys. So beautiful. So grateful for each of you.
Very nice. And I should probably just let everyone know that a little white male Chihuahua came to us today, completely white with blue eyes, and it's incredible because the last three animals that have come to us, two little kittens and now this Chihuahua, have all been white with blue eyes. The last three in a row. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. You rarely in Mexico see, white dogs and white cats, and there they are, white with blue eyes. So that's pretty cool and a pretty cool manifestation of energy. So very cool. He has a few little issues, and Colleen is just giving him so much love and attention. She's been wearing him around her bosom with all day long. So he's just in the best of hands, the best of care, and he's doing really really well. So we're thinking of calling him Celeborn, and because one of the other kitties we got was Galadriel, so Celeborn and Galadriel. So it's pretty cool.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, until next time, we love y'all.